We're back now at 8:08 with a troubling activity more teens are taking part in. It's called sexting, using a cell phone to take and send revealing pictures. We brought you Jessie Logan's story last week. She took her own life after being teased and tormented when her picture was forwarded by an ex-boyfriend to hundreds of other students. Today, national correspondent Natalie Morales has more on that. Natalie, good morning to you.
Matt, good morning. Sexting not only leads to embarrassment and grief, but many teens who sext are finding the consequences more severe than they ever imagined.
Florida teenager Philip Alpert is a registered sex offender.
I don't think that I deserve to be on that list. I don't deserve to be next to someone who rapes and murders and, hurts children.
At 18, he was convicted for transmitting child pornography after emailing nude photos his ex-girlfriend had sent to him to more than 70 people. It's a troubling trend, from lewd web postings to sending racy pictures known simply as sexting. Teens may do it for fun, not thinking it's wrong, but some are being charged with real crimes. Alpert is serving 5 years probation and will remain a sex offender until he's at least 43 years old. As a result, he says he got kicked out of college, he can't find a job, and has to attend weekly meetings with other sex offenders.
Ruined a big part of my life, and it's going to be ruining my life for a very long time.
According to one national survey, about 20% of teens admitted to sexting. But with teens as young as 13 being arrested for it, some legal experts are crying foul.
The law has not caught up to the technology. These kids are being prosecuted under an old law, an outmoded law, that was never designed to address this particular situation.
Last month, a 15-year-old Pennsylvania girl was charged with creating child pornography after police say she sent nude pictures of herself through the popular website MySpace.
What we have is a shifting culture. And we're at the intersection then of culture, technology, and in this case, adolescent development.
I think it's outrageous.
Sexting landed 18-year-old Bryce Dixon in jail on pornography charges. He admits he forwarded a nude picture of his 16-year-old ex-girlfriend to get back at her for cheating.
The problem is, I made a mistake. A very small mistake. Turns out to be a big charge.
Beyond jail, sexting can have very serious complications. Last week on Today, we told you the story of Jessie Logan, a teenager who became the subject of intense ridicule after her ex-boyfriend allegedly forwarded nude pictures she had taken of herself.
She was being attacked and tortured, actually, by people. Things were being thrown at her.
Jessie's mother says her daughter was so upset she killed herself.
I walked over into her room and saw her aching.
So just how widespread is sexting? Well, according to one recent survey, it suggests 20% of cell phone users under the age of 17 have received a nude or sexual image on their phones. Matt?
All right, Natalie, thank you very much. Perry Aftab is Executive Director of WiredSafety.org. Larry Walters is a First Amendment and Internet attorney. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Perry, let me start with you. If we've had 20% of teens doing this, sexting, and if a percentage of them are sexting pictures of underage children or kids, I mean, do we really want to use these adult laws to deal with them?
Right now, we really don't have a choice. There's nothing else out there. And we're relying on prosecutorial discretion, meaning the prosecutors won't bring these cases. But when the kids don't cooperate or when they're out of hand, the prosecutors are now saying enough is enough.
Larry, you said this is overkill. Explain your stance for me.
Good morning, Matt. There's a few reasons why this is really an overreaction to the behavior. Number one, the punishment doesn't fit the crime. These child porn laws were designed to punish a very different behavior. You know, a kid sending a racy picture is a very different behavior than a pedophile forcing a toddler to perform a sex act on camera. And that's really what these child porn laws were designed to address. Second of all, we're holding these kids to a different standard, to a higher standard actually than adults who do the same kind of thing. If an adult sends a similar type of picture involving another adult, well, that's not a crime. No offense occurs.
Yeah, but the question comes up when these pictures are of underage, are people who are not adults, under the age of consent.
That's right, but these teens don't see themselves as children. They see themselves as teens. They don't see what they're doing as child pornography, and they're being held to a higher standard. In fact, they're being held to a criminal standard, whereas adults, if they do the same kind of thing, aren't held to any criminal standard at all. There's no crime being committed.
Larry, you also
and finally,
you take this
one
a step.
last point.
Let me just say, you take this a step further. You think that that adults may have to realize that this is the way that today's teens express themselves sexually, that it's more normal than a lot of adults would like to think it is.
Well, I don't know that I'd say that it is normal. I'd say that teens believe it is normal. It is normal for them. And to use child porn laws to punish teens for a behavior that the law was never designed to address is overkill, number one, and it dilutes the effectiveness of the child pornography laws for everyone else. If we really want to protect kids, what we want to do is use these child porn offenses in the appropriate case so that the criminal justice system takes them seriously and doesn't dismiss it, oh, this is just another teen sexting case. We need to reserve these child porn offenses for the proper case involving pedophiles and child rapists that they were designed for.
So Perry, obviously what we're trying to figure out is a way to convince teens not to do this, because they don't understand that by taking that picture and hitting the send button, they can dramatically impact their lives. So how do you deter teens unless you take these, what seem to be draconian steps?
Well, actually, I'll take you back to Jessie's case. Jessie Logan took her own life. She tried to reach out and change the world. I've got my teen angels and my volunteers working on a campaign now with Cynthia and Jessie's friends to try to use her story as the story that will change behavior. In the same way Megan Myers did on regular cyberbullying, we think that Jessie's voice and what happened to her can make a difference here, but we need to reach out to the kids. In the meantime, they need to understand the laws as written right now, when applied to them, might mean that they're registered sex offenders in bed with all of those people they don't want to be hanging out with for the rest of their lives.
Larry, what's the message to parents in all this? I mean, what role should they play in driving this message home to their teens?
Well, you know, kids will be kids, but that doesn't make them criminals. And parents need to talk with their kids. This problem needs to be solved as a social problem, not a criminal problem. Education is obviously key, and I give credit to Perry for what she's doing. That will avoid these terrible consequences for kids who get caught up in the criminal justice system in an inappropriate way.
All right. Larry Walters and Perry Aftab, thank you both very much.
With your help always, Matt.
We appreciate it.